7 and 15, the book of Romans, the Bible says, Paul says, I do not really understand myself, for I want to do what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate. I want to do what is right, but I can't. I want to do what is good, but I don't. I want to do what is wrong, but I don't want to do what is wrong, but I do it anyway. Sound like an R&B song, don't it? Oh, nobody here listen to R&B? Okay, righteous believers. Anyway, let's do it. He's so spiritual. Oh, what a miserable person I am. Who will free me from this life that is dominated by sin and death? And then God comes and gives him the answer right there in verse 25. He says the answer is Jesus Christ. Let me tell you this, in order for us to really understand how it is to break this habit, number one, you got to understand who before you do. You got to understand who it is that you're connected to before it is you can begin to construct or bring to pass what it is that God has put in your spirit. It's the reason for Galatians 5. Let's go real quick. Stay in the New Living Translation. Galatians chapter 5. Let's look at we were dealing with verse 1. We won't stay there today. God endorses what you identify with. That's Bible. That's why he says, if any man that identifies with me, I don't even care who you were in your former life. I don't even care prior to what you were when you made a commitment to me. Because once you identify with me, everything else is irrelevant. Paul says, I'm going to start at verse 2. Oh, Lord. Paul says, I tell you this. Let's look at verse 3. Verse 3 says, I'll say it again. If you are trying to find favor with God by being circumcised, you must obey every regulation in the whole law of Moses. For if you are trying to make yourselves right with God by keeping the law, you have been cut off from who? You have fallen away from. He says, when you try, old habit, when you are trying to keep yourself clean and righteous, what you are saying is, I don't need God's grace. I can do it. When you are trying to fast that cussing demon out of you, you are telling grace, I don't need you. So at a moment's notice, when you do want to respond, something comes out that you didn't have control over. Because you've identified with, I don't need grace because I can keep myself safe. When you try to keep yourself clean, God says this is why you have to understand, I came, and because I came, I have made you righteous. Somebody say, I'm the righteousness of God. I'm the righteousness of God. Not what you do, but how you believe. Let me move. Verse 5 says, but we who live by what? The Spirit wait to receive by what? The righteousness of God that has been promised to us. For when we place our faith in Jesus, there is no benefit in being what? Or being what? When you talk about circumcision, he's not actually talking about going through the surgery. When he talks about circumcision, when you ever see circumcision in terms of biblical text, the circumcision is a cutting away of extra skin that is not needed. For those of you who love liposuction, tummy tucks. Anybody had a tummy tuck before? Don't raise your hand. I walked past a place Thursday, and they specialized, in tucks and takeaways. And they had a guy on the window holding what used to be, or what they want us to believe here, was him. And I said to myself, and myself said to me, you ain't got to go to the gym, Vic, if you go in there. you can just go in there and then you can become the man on the mirror. Let me ask you something. If you cut it away, but you're yet still disciplined and doing your own thing, what you think gonna happen? The problem is we are trying to get easy ways out when it's going to take the discipline of structure and commitment to not do what it takes, or do not do through the faith of the belief in God, to the thing that you're not going to have to go through extreme systems